So in the previous class, we have discussed how seeing that Prachinabari is ready to practice bhakti. However, he want to give all the responsibilities to his sons who just went for performing tapasya. As soon as they come home, he wanted to surrender the kingdom to their sons, his sons, and then want to go to forest and practice bhakti full, full-fledged. So Narada Muni understood it. Anyway, he has got desire to practice bhakti, but he want to wait until his sons comes. In order to create urgency within the mind of Prachinabari, Narada Muni speaks another story. The story of a deer nicely enjoying in the green grasses, smelling the fragrance of wonderful flowers, in the company of the mating deers, etc., etc., etc. But without the knowledge of the deer is going ahead by eating grasses, it is not sure that little ahead, as other side of the bushes, there are tigers, lions, wolves, and behind, following the deer, there is a hunter. So, my dear king, please go and protect it. The king asks, "Where is the deer? Where is the deer? I'm a king. I need to protect this, the innocent." Then Narada says, "My dear king, you are the deer. Kindly understand. You are situated in the opulent kingdom in the midst of all the palaces, opulences, in the midst of all the ladies, and you want to practice bhakti at your convenience. Is there any guarantee that you will live until your sons come? Because you are constantly witnessed by the hunter from behind, and you are weighted by the tigers and jackals and lions in the front. The tigers, jackals which are waiting are like time which is passing. You are walking ahead, that means time is passing, you are coming close to them. They want to pounce upon you. And behind the hunter is waiting to shoot the arrow. Hunter is like the death blow, emerge. So what is the guarantee that you will live until your sons return home? Better, since you have the desire to practice bhakti from now onwards. So that kind of urgency has been instigated by Narada Muni. So hearing this second allegorical story, understanding that the king is going to respond. The king's response is mentioned in 56 to 59. Now let us see what was the response, what is the understanding, what is the kind of clarity the king got. So how does he respond? Rajo Vacha. Hare Krishna, someone repeat.
Rajovacha.
Shrutam Anvikshitam Brahman.
Shrutam Anvikshitam Brahman.
Bhagavan Yad Abhashata.
Bhagavan Yat Abhashata.
Naitad Jananti Upadhyaya.
Naitat Jananti Upadhyaya.
Kim na bruyurviduryadi.
Kim na bruyurviduryadi. Translation. The king replied, "My dear Brahmana, whatever you have said, I have heard with great attention, and considering all of it, have come to the conclusion that the acharyas who engaged me in fruitive activity did not know this confidential knowledge. If they were aware of it, why did they not explain to me?"
So king submitting his innocence. What can be done? I don't know because my teachers never taught about all these things that you are taught. So like that. In one sense, he was innocent. He was expressing his innocence. Oh Brahmana, I have heard and considered what you have spoken. The teachers who taught me do not know this. If they knew, why did they not tell me? So what can be done? We are not thoroughly educated like you. Neither I nor my teachers. What we know is all about karma. They taught me how to perform karma and I've been performing karma. So like that. What you spoke has been heard and later seen, considered and absorbed. The sages present here made me study karma alone. because they do not know this bhakti. They do not know this jnana, they do not know this bhakti. If they know, then why do they not tell me? From today onwards, you are my guru. Whoever are my family priests, they have been instructing me to perform how to perform karma. I have been performing karma. Since they do not know about this jnana, vairagya, and bhakti, they never taught me about jnana, vairagya, and bhakti. Today you are teaching me everything. From today onwards, you are my spiritual master, and whatever you say, I'll follow. Karishye vatanam tava. So like that. So he is not a what you can say argumentative mentality person. He's actually a gentleman. What he knew, he was doing all this all the while, and now when he received higher knowledge, he is willing to follow that. That shows his submissiveness. That's why he attained perfection. संशयोऽत्र तु मे विप्र
संशयोऽत्र तु मे विप्र
सञ्चिन्नस्तत्कृतो महान्
सञ्छिन्नस्तत्कृतो महान्
ऋषयोऽपि हि मुह्यन्ति
ऋषयोऽपि हि मुह्यन्ति
यत्र नेन्द्रियवृत्तयः.
यत्र नेन्द्रियवृत्तयः. My dear Brahman, there are contradictions between your instructions and those of my spiritual teachers who engaged me in fruitive activities. I now can understand the distinction between devotional service, knowledge, and renunciation. I had some doubts about them, but you have now very kindly dissipated all these doubts. I can now understand how even the great sages are bewildered by the real purpose of life. Of course, there is no question of sense gratification.
O Narada, O Brahmana, you have destroyed my great doubt created by these teachers, by your teachings. There was a doubt in his heart. What is that? We'll see in the notes. But whatever it is, that doubt has been removed by your wonderful causeless mercy. Even the sages who have controlled the senses are bewildered. All my teachers have self-control, but still they are also bewildered. They had a doubt and they implanted the same doubt in me. So what was that doubt? The doubt created by the teachers who taught by contrary statements that bhakti, jnana, and vairagya were impossible has been completely decisively cut by you. The Purohit, the Raja Purohit and the teachers of Prachinabari have told that, hey king, for worldly people, practice of bhakti, practice of jnana, practice of vairagya are very difficult. They cannot practice. If at all somebody want to practice bhakti, jnana, vairagya and all, they need to be in the renounced order. They need to be in the forest, being seated in the kingdom. One cannot practice all these things. That was the conclusion of the teachers. And he also convinced. He had a doubt why kings cannot practice like that. Same doubt is there, but there was no one to remove that doubt. And today Narada Muni removed that doubt. Say like that. The sages in whom sense actions do not prevail, that means whose senses are under control, who have conquered the senses, are bewildered. Even my teachers are bewildered in spite of being sense control. Out of illusion, they perform karma and make persons like me perform karma. How unfortunate for persons like us. They themselves are performing karma and they taught me how to perform karma. Because they considered or they believed that jnana, vairagya and bhakti are difficult for the people in the city. People leading worldly lives like that, like brahmanas and kshatriyas. So they being brahmanas, I being kshatriya, we are only performing karma and they are also performing karma because we all thought that they are all not for us. They are meant for some special people who are living born and brought up in the forest and living in the forest, something like that. That doubt has been removed today by teachings of Narada Muni. Karmani arabate yena
कर्माणि आरभते येन
umaniha vihayatam
पुमानिह विहायतम्
amutranyena dehena
अमुत्राण्येन देहेन
justani sayadanshnute.
दुष्टानि स यदश्नुते. The results of whatever a living entity does in this life are enjoyed in the next life.
So here Prachina Bhari is saying that giving up the body. Oh, now he has one question. So he said, thank you very much. Whatever doubt I had from the beginning, it is clear today. But still I have one more doubt. This doubt in relation to karma. Because why would one perform karma? Why would one engage one subordinate in executing all the Vedic rituals time and again, like Prachina Bhari was performing again and again, so many Vedic rituals. The reason was, if you perform all these Vedic rituals, you will go to Swarga and you will enjoy a better life. But when one will go to Swarga, after giving up the present body, one will go to Swarga. So that was the general understanding of going to Swarga and enjoying. So keeping that in mind, he had one more question doubt that he is putting forward into Narada Muni. He says, giving up the body by which one performs activities, a person then enjoys the results in a different body on another planet after death. So how is this? If I perform some set of fire sacrifices today with a lot of endeavor, karma kanda rituals and all, and my teacher said, and the Vedas also saying that after leaving this body, in my next life, I'll go to Swarga and enjoy in Swarga heavenly opulences. How is that? If I am performing activities in the current body, I should also enjoy in the current body only. Why should I enjoy in a different body at a different place? I should be enjoying here only. So this is the simple question, like an ordinary man will ask. I have one more doubt concerning the path of karma. Please destroy that doubt. What is that doubt? A person gives up the body with which he performed various activities like yajna, dana, tapa, etc. and then attains the results in Swarga or Naraka in another body, in another abode after death. So whatever punya or papa we perform now in the current body, in this current lifetime, we will experience the results only after death. So if you perform pious activities, you go to Swarga and enjoy in a different body. If you perform sinful activities, you go to Naraka and enjoy its results in a different body. That all after death and at a different place. This is explained in the scripture. How is that suitable? So Shastra talks like this, Vedas tell this. So how is that suitable? In other words, is it not wrong that he performs actions in one body and enjoys the results in another body, in another life, in another place? So why so much delay? If I perform some good activities here only, why I have to wait for a next life, a next place? So like that. This is genuine because he was a king. Because in a kingdom, if somebody makes a mistake, he will administer punishment immediately. For a king, being a king, he will administer punishment immediately. But in the case of Vedic ritual, the results are coming in the next life. Why so much delay? That is a doubt. Iti Veda Vidam Vada.
इति वेदविदां वादः
श्रूयते तत्र तत्रः
श्रूयते तत्र तत्रः
कर्म यत् क्रियते प्रोक्तम्
कर्म यत् क्रियते प्रोक्तम्
paroksham na prakashate.
परोक्षं न प्रकाशते. The expert knowers of the Vedic conclusions say that one enjoys or suffers the results of his past activities. But practically, it is seen that the body that performed the work in the last birth is already lost. So, how is it possible to enjoy or suffer the reactions of that work in a different body?
So this is the question. So because he as a king, he had that experience of giving punishment immediately. This statement is heard from the knowers of the Vedas. Also, the action prescribed in the Vedas that is performed disappears with the end of the act, and its future result is also absent. So now, one thing, Shastra says you perform Vedic ritual now, you will get the result in the future life. First question is why? Why like that? Second question is that is there a guarantee? Is there a guarantee that I will definitely get the result in the next life? Because as soon as the activity performed, I forget about it. Don't remember what happened in my past life and what I would do, what I'm doing now. I will not remember the future. So how can I be sure that I will definitely get the result? Because as soon as the activity is over, we forget that, and we are busy with new activity. So just like we forget the activity, the result also will be forgotten. So why would scriptures give false promises like that? This is second question. He raises another doubt. The action mentioned in the Vedas, which is performed by men, immediately disappears the next moment. That means as soon as the activity is over, and you don't worry about the activity. So Vedas said that you perform this, you perform and forget it. The fate generated from the act, though existing, is absent since we see no evidence of its existence. So one may say, yeah, when you perform activity, result will come. But I am not there to see the result. Then how do I know that result is coming or not? Because Vedas are saying that you will get the result only in the next life. तो किसको पता है नेक्स्ट लाइफ है क्या नहीं नेक्स्ट लाइफ है तो भी रिजल्ट आएगा नहीं आएगा कौन who will verify? This is the question. How can one enjoy the results of another abode? How can one enjoy the results on another abode after death? Why like that so much delay? Results should come immediately in this very lifetime. Then because I know I have performed activity, I am getting the result. The things are settled. Why unnecessarily Vedas are promising the enjoyment in the future life only? Enjoyment or misery in the future life. The same thing we can apply. If somebody sees like hellish punishments are there, if somebody sees the reaction immediately, one will be afraid of not doing the sinful activities. But if somebody says that results only will come, sinful results only will come in the next life, somebody may say, oh, what is the guarantee? Who knows? Who sees all these things? They're all just to create fear. All the scriptures will speak just to create fear in you. So don't worry, do it. देखेंगे जब आएगा तब. So that is that possibility is also there. Future में आएगा किसको पता आएंगे नहीं आएंगे क्या पता है. So like that, one may outrightly dismiss also. So that's why because he's a king, he knows what is the mentality of the people in general, especially the criminal people. How do they think? He knows. Why don't think the results should come immediately? That was the whole point. Very intellectual point, very nice point also. Because for sinful activities, there is a fear. If you do it, you will get punishment immediately. There is a fear, so the people will not do it. And when people see other people see the results immediately, they also want to do pious activities. So in that way. So these are a couple of questions. After expressing his gratitude to the Narada Muni, accepting him as the Guru, he is posing few questions. Now Narada Muni will respond in the rest of the chapter. Text number 62 to 79. Almost 20 verses are the response to these two questions. So that is the rest of the chapter. Is everyone able to follow what we are discussing? Any questions?
No, Prabhuji, no questions following.
Now Narada responds the first question, then the answer to second question, and eventually both the questions are answered in a very highly technical way. This section is quite technical, but very important. So I request all of you pay attention and we'll go through all the verses. And because these are some of the questions which every person around us will ask. They will always say, does really Vaikuntha exist? You people are practicing Bhakti, you will say that we will go to Golok, Vrindavan, Vaikuntha, this, that. What is the guarantee? क्या result मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा किसको पता है? People used to ask Prabhupada the same thing. Does Krishna really exist? You people are doing chanting, dancing, feasting, all these things you are doing. By the end of your life, if you come to know that there is no Krishna, then what will happen to all your hardships? Srila Prabhupada would answer that, no problem. Anyway, we had a nice time. We always chanted, we always danced, we always ate Krishna Prasadam, we feasted. So we had a nice time. Even if somebody says that Krishna is we come to know that Krishna is not there, still we had a nice time. There's no loss. But if at the end of your life, if you come to know if Krishna is there, since you have not practiced bhakti throughout your life, then what will happen to your fate? Like that, Srila Prabhupada would cross question the news reporters. So it's like that. People generally always have such kind of questions. What is the sure? What is the surety? What is the guarantee? Why all these things necessarily? Just ask करो ना, खाओ पियो मजा करो, जीवन मतलब उतना ही है, अगला जन्म है क्या नहीं किसको पता है? Like that people always say. Same thing, our king also says, punishment should be given, reward also should be given immediately so that people will believe. So if scriptures are promising punishment and reward will only come in the next life, so many people may not believe it. Why so much delay? Like that is asking. Let us see what Narada Muni want to say. Answer. Narada Uvacha.
Narada.
Enaiva. We are not able to hear Namkirti Prabhu.
Yenaivarabhate karma.
Tenaiva mutra tatpuman.
Tatvaman.
Bhunte avyavadhanena.
Bhuntehi avyavadhanena.
Lingena manasa swayam.
Lingena manasa swayam. The great sage Narada continues. The living entity acts in a gross body in this life. This body is forced to act by the subtle body, composed of mind, intelligence, and ego. After the gross body is lost, the subtle body is still there to enjoy or suffer. Thus, there is no change.
Yeah. Narada Muni says, one enjoys the results after death by the same body which performed the actions while living. Through the subtle body, with the mind and the principal sense organ, without obstruction of the gross body. The first question was, Narada Muni answered the first question. So, question was, if I perform Vedic rituals in the current body, the Vedas are saying that after leaving this body, when you go to Swarga, you will get a new body. In the new body, will enjoy in the heavenly happiness. So why it is so? If I perform activities in this body, I should get results also in this body. Why it's a different body, a different place, and different time? Why not now the same body, the same place? So Narada Muni says, no, don't don't think like that. In whichever body you are performing activities, the same body only will enjoy the results. ऐसे कैसे? Narada Muni says, I am not talking about the gross body. I am talking about the subtle body. The subtle body does not change, even though you may change the gross bodies. The same subtle body was there when you are the king performing fire sacrifices, and the same subtle body will be there when you go to heaven and enjoy the results. It is in the same body you performed activities and you will enjoy the results. So that is the understanding. So change of gross body does not, no need to worry about that. Just like today we will wear one cloth, we perform certain activity. Tomorrow we will wear another cloth, and but the results. So what is the problem? There is no problem. But you are the same only. The cloth may be changed, but you are the same. Same way, the gross body, which is acting like the external garment, may change, but internally the subtle body and the soul are same only. So in that way, the same person who performed activity will also enjoy the results. That is understanding. By the subtle body, by the mind principally, by the senses of which the mind is predominant in performing sin and piety, one enjoys. So it is not through gross body, but it is through subtle body one enjoys the results. So that's how our Narada Muni is answering. So in that way, you are not changing the body. Subtle body will not change. Subtle body will be there with you until you attain liberation. So it's the same subtle body in which you are moving from one gross body to other body. Same subtle body will perform activity. Same subtle body will enjoy the results also. One enjoy the results of Sarga and hell by the senses in the subtle body. The subtle body gives no obstacle to enjoyment. There is not obstacle of a gross body. So, my dear king, don't worry about that. Gross body is like the external clothing, external shirt. You may keep changing the shirts, but you will be same only. Your subtle body also will remain same. The same subtle body which performed activities will also enjoy the results. So, in that way. So now there could be another question. Though the doer and the enjoyer exist through the subtle body, without the gross body, they cannot accomplish enjoyment. So the king will say, so you are talking about big things, subtle body, this body, that body. But for me, I only know gross body. Until the gross body is not there, one can neither perform activities nor enjoy the results. So how can you dismiss the existence of gross body? You simply say subtle body, you are performing activities, subtle body only enjoy the results. But without gross body, subtle body cannot perform the activity, cannot enjoy the results. Because subtle body alone is like a ghostly body. A ghostly body cannot perform activity, cannot enjoy. Ghost also needs a gross body. So Narada Muni says, yes, my dear king, that is true. It is the gross body which is procured by the actions. An example is given. Yes, yes, yes. What you say is right. It is through gross body only we perform activities. Through gross body only we get to enjoy the results. But the gross body is a result of the activities that one performs through subtle body. In that way, the gross body is also a byproduct of the subtle body. So, like that, he says. For that, he gives an example. How is that? Shayanam imam usrujya
Prayanam Sotrujya
Swachantam Purusho Yata
Vasantam Purusho Yatha
Karmatmani Ahitam
Karmatmani Ahitam
Bhunte Tadrukshe Medarena
Bhunte Tadrisi Tare Nava. Translation. The living entity, while dreaming, giving up the actual living body through the activities of his mind and intelligence. He acts in another body, either as a good or bad, a god or a dog. After giving up this gross body, the living entity enters either an animal body or a demigod's body on this planet or another planet. He thus enjoys the results of the actions of his past life.
So he gives a very nice example, which all of us can connect to. He says, just as a sleeping person gives up his identity as a waking person and experiences actions in the mind through impressions while dreaming. So, the person after death enjoys on another planet with a gross body similar to the dream body. Yeah, yes, Mataji, Priya Vinodi Mataji, you want to say
Prabhuji,
something?
sometimes na your voice is not coming properly. It is very low and cracking. We can't
Yes,
hear properly.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay, okay. I will try to speak into the laptop, which is little far distant. That could be the reason. Now you are able to hear me clearly?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Roji.
Okay, okay, thank you. So now here, with a simple example, he says, all of us, when we sleep, what happens? We get a dream. In the dream, what happens? Okay, that is true, but in a layman language, we have a good or bad experience. In the dream, sometimes there will be good experience, like people are praising us, people are feeding us, we are eating nice, delicious delicacies, or we have been traveling to wonderful places, beautiful places, here, there, etc., etc. Sometimes the dream could be horrible. Tiger is chasing after us. We are falling down from the cliff or building, something like that. Both are there. So, when the king asks, in this grass body, I'm performing rituals, and in the next body, when I go to heaven, in the next life, with the next body, I'll enjoy in the heaven. How is that? Then Arjuna says same thing. Throughout the day, you have been thinking about something. All those thoughts will come in the form of a dream in the night time. In the dream, you are there, but your grass body is not there. You will have a different body. Here, you are Pavaneshwar Das, a brahmachari in Chaupati temple, at least external point of view. In the dream, you will be a prince or you will be something else. You will have, you will be having in the midst, you will be sitting in the midst of all the royal opulences and wonderful cuisine, and you are enjoying a nice feast. There, you are no more Pavaneshwar. You will be a royal prince. Your grass body changed, but soul is same. Subtle body is same. During the daytime, you might have thought of having a nice feast, which you did not had in that throughout the day, but you could have it in the night time in the dream. So you had a desire to have a feast in the daytime, and you might have endeavored also. It is not fulfilled, but it is fulfilled in the dream. Your dream is like the next life, next place with the next body. So like that. In that way, what scripture said will take place, the proof is this one. Dream is the proof. So like that. Just as a sleeping person gives up his identity as a waking person and experiences actions in the mind through impressions while dreaming, so the person after death enjoys on another planet with a gross body similar to the dream body. Just like in a dream, we get a different gross body. In our next life, also, we get a different gross body and enjoy in that body. This is how the enjoyment take place. Like that, Narada says. In analogy, just like in the dream, you get a different body. In the next life, also, you get a different body. Here, you have been performing so many Vedic rituals because the discussion is between Prachanabari and Narada Muni. You are performing so many rituals, you will go to Swarga and you get a heavenly body, you will enjoy. While performing Vedic ritual, what was your thought process? To go to heaven to enjoy. That is your contemplation. Just like throughout the day, I had a contemplation of having a nice feast, but I did not had here. In my dream, I had a nice feast. So like that. While performing an activity, we have contemplation. So that result will be obtained in the next life. So when somebody says, what is the proof? That is the second question. The answer is, the proof is right away. Dream is your proof. Your contemplations are fulfilled in your dream. Similarly, whatever activities you perform, you will get the results in the next life. So like that. Just as a sleeping body, giving up the living body of waking state, gives up the identity, enjoys actions through impressions in the mind. A person enjoys, similarly, a person enjoys in other world after death in a different grass body. For instance, sometimes one may become animal like tiger, bird, lion, like that. Procured through karma, similar to the dream body. So this is how he gives a simple practical example. This is how you will enjoy in the next life. When you say scriptures are saying so, but what is the proof? Proof is your dream only. जो आपने दिन में सोचा वो रात में हो रहा है. Same way, whatever you are trying to get now in this life, you will get in the next life. So like that. These verses are little technical, little at the first to go, it may be difficult to follow, difficult to understand, but be patient. They will become more and more clear as well as more and more technical. So the logic is very simple, but details Narada Muni here, there, घुमाते फिराते इसलिए थोड़ा सा tough लगता है. Logic is very simple. When Shastra says the result will come, it will come. It may not come immediately, but it will come in the next life. How it comes, you may not realize, but it will come. Because when Shastra says something, it will happen. So just because you can't see right now, you cannot deny the Shastra. So that is the understanding. One simple example is dream. हमने दिन में क्या सोचा रात को हो जाएगा. बस हो गया. Like that. Mamaite manasa yad
Mamaite manasa yad
asavahamiti dhruvam
asavaham iti bruvan
gruhniyat tatpuman radham
gruniyat tatpuman radham
karma yena punarbhavaha.
karma yena punarbhavaha. Translation: the living entity labors under the bodily conception of I am this, I am that. My duty is this, and therefore I shall do it. These are all mental impressions, and all these activities are temporary. Nonetheless, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity gets a chance to execute all his mental concoctions. Thus, he gets another body. Hare Krishna.
Saying this is mine or I am this person, aham mama iti. The jiva identifies with his grass body and performs various activities. Like our Prabhuji is sitting in front of me. He will say that I am an engineer, and then he will do engineer activities, corresponding activities. That is natural. The jiva then receives the results of that action in his subtle body. By that action, performed with a certain identity, the jiva then takes birth with another grass body. So here Narada Muni is not talking about those activities, those daily activities which we perform day to day, going to office, performing our duty, and we may get salary on 31st, 30th or 31st of every month. There is a immediate return. We get to see, we get to appreciate, everything is there. But there are some activities like bhakti, jnana, yoga. So bhakti says you will go back home back to Godhead. Jnana yoga, Ashtanga yoga says you will attain Sahyajya Mukti. When? Next life. But how can people have the faith in those statements, in those promises? So Narada Muni is addressing or tackling such kind of questions, not day-to-day things. So in that way, when Shastra says so, it will happen. One need to be patient. So that should be the understanding. So this is about karma. You are there from the beginning. You are a Raja. You are performing 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. So what is the result? You will be staying in Swarga for 100,000 years. Okay. The king is asking question, why I have to wait for the next life? What is the guarantee that I'll definitely go to Swarga and enjoy? Since I have performed Ashwamedha Yajnas now, I should get the result now only. Why next life? You may promise, you perform this and you will get the result next life. If I am not going to get the results, why should I perform activities so painstakingly? क्यों परफॉर्म करने का? So like that. Valid question na? You are a devotee. Our ISKCON preachers are telling that practice bhakti, get up early in the morning, attend Mangalarti, chant japa, hear Bhagavatam, read Bhagavatam, do services here, there, everywhere, so much throughout the life you are doing. What is the result? Back home, back to Godhead. What is the guarantee? Wait, what is the guarantee? If I do whole life all these things, I will go to back to Godhead. What is the guarantee? Why should I believe on Shastra Acharyas? Why? उनको प्रश्न वही है, because he is a king. What king will do? When somebody performs a mistake, he will punish immediately. When somebody performs something nice, he will reward immediately. Then what happens? There is faith, there is fear. If I do something wrong, king will the king will punish me. He will not do wrong. If I do something, king will reward me. He will do more good. He is a king. If Shastra says next life it will happen, if somebody does not believe in next life, what they will do? Sinful activities only, more and more. अभी होगा क्या होगा ना किसको पता है? करो जितना करना है करो. हाँ, आजकल वही चल रहा है. कल हो ना हो. हाँ, किसने देखा? अभी जितना ऐश करना है कर लो. That is the problem. This is a general question. This particular question, doubt is there in Treta Yuga also, even today in Kali Yuga also. Why should I believe in the promises made by the scriptures? Narada Muni says, don't worry. जिस बॉडी में आपने कर्म किया उसी बॉडी में आप एंजॉय करेंगे. कौन सा बॉडी? सटल बॉडी. King is talking about the hard grass body like a layman. Narada Muni is talking about subtle body like a knowledgeable person. That is the difference. Subtle body will be there until you liberate. When you are liberated, at that time you leave the subtle body. Otherwise, as long as you are moving the mental world, subtle body will accompany you throughout. Grass body is given by our biological parents. Subtle body is given by Brahma ji. जब तक हम ब्रह्मा जी को बाय बाय नहीं बोलेंगे तब तक सटल बॉडी हमारे पास रहेगा. Okay? So the grass body is maintained by our parents, family, and all. The devatas. Devatas are maintaining our subtle body. They are the palakas and poshakas of subtle body. So we need to be grateful to them. The spirit soul is maintained by Bhagavan. So spirit soul should be obedient to Bhagavan. So in that way. The verse explains how one's identity in the grass body helps the jiva attain his next body. Even though grass body is there, but it is subtle body which performs all the activities through the help of grass body. Even though one may say that I am Jay Kishan Maurya, I am an engineer, I do work in MRM and keep doing all the activities. Grass body is only an instrument. But you being a person, you being a doer, you being an engineer, it's all because of subtle body. Subtle body is only doing all these things with the help of grass body. and in a different gross body, you will get the results. Material activities, you may get results immediately. But here is Narada talking about the yajna. When you perform yajna, the result will be obtained to you next life. But there, I'm not there. No, you are there. How? Through your subtle body. It is the same subtle body, both the places. So in that way. He says, I did this activity. This is my sacrifice for attaining Swarga. Fine. And he identifies with his particular gross body. Yad grihniyat. Then the jiva in his subtle body accepts the results accomplished through actions in the previous gross body. The previous gross body is not necessary for this. Thus, by that action performed with ahankara, one takes birth again. Birth cannot take place otherwise. For example, you are going to office every day. You are wearing a particular shirt. Today you wear one shirt, tomorrow you wear another shirt, day after tomorrow you wear another shirt. But on 31st, you may wear different shirt only. You are taking salary by wearing a different shirt. So the salary giver may say, hey, you worked all these days wearing a black color cloth, and today you wore white color cloth. You are a different person. Not give you the results. Will you say like that? But shirt is different. Your color is different. Person is same, na? Same way, subtle body is same. Though gross body is different, but subtle body is same. So one will get the result. So something like that. Hare Krishna, our devotees online following. Any questions are there? You can start me.
Following, Prabhuji, following.
Okay, okay.
Clear, Prabhuji.
Yatanumiyate chittam
यथानुमयेत् चित्तम्
उभयेरिन्द्रियैहितैः
उभयैरिन्द्रियैः हितैः
एवं प्राक् देहजं कर्म
एवं प्राग्देहजं कर्म
लक्ष्यते चित्तवृत्तिभिः.
लक्ष्यते चित्तवृत्तिभिः. Translation. One can understand the mental or consciousness position of a living entity by the activity of two kinds of senses, the knowledge acquiring senses and the educating senses. Similarly, by the mental condition or consciousness of a person, one can understand his position in the previous life.
Just as one can infer by the knowledge senses and action senses, one can infer the actions in the previous gross body by the present functioning of chitta. Here chitta means one's psychological behavior, one's belief system, psychological behavior, personality, that we can take it as chitta. This verse talks about an interesting phenomena. Let us see what it is. The answer, this verse answers the question. Since actions disappear the moment it is performed, how can one enjoy its results in the next life? How can one know that right now I am getting the result of the activity that I performed in my previous life? Because previous life I was in a different body, now I am in a different body. So how can I correlate with the activity that I did in the past? Then Narada says, Ek Baba Suno, the grass body may be different, but the chitta is same. In both the places, same chitta is there. Previously, when you performed activity, the memories of that activity are stored in the chitta. Now, when the results are coming, chitta will put forward those memories. And chitta will tell you that, hey Baba, you are getting the results of that activity which you done in the last life now. So, like that. Chitta is the connection between the previous life to current life and current life to future life. What we have done in the past will influence our current personality. What we are doing now will influence our future personality. The personality is in chitta. So like that. One can infer the chitta by the knowledge or action senses. which are not operating at the same time. Here one technical understanding is there, but before that, we'll try to understand this principle of chitta. In the daytime, when we are awake, we are aware that we are alive by chitta. In the night time, if we are in deep sleep, are we aware that we are alive? Huh? In deep sleep, in one sense, we are almost dead. But as soon as we get up, what happens? We are conscious of what? Of what? Means what? Since when? वो कल क्या हुआ, उसके पहले क्या हुआ, उसके पहले क्या हुआ, जब तक अब जन्म लिया तब से अब तक उतना तो याद है ना चित्त में. So that is what it is. So even though in the night when you are in deep sleep, you are as good as dead. But when you get up, your chitta will give you the memories of your entire life. You may not be remembering every memory, but most of them will come. And then suddenly some friend will come. He will say that, hello, my dear friend, I met you 10 years back. You may say that, no, I don't remember. Then he will tell, you remember? You came to Chennai and we both were there in the bus stand and you met me. We both went to Golden Beach and we spent time together one day and then we departed like this, like this. Then you remember everything. So when there is a kind of this somebody pokes your memory, so then all your memories will come out. Where the memories are stored? Chitta. Chitta is the storehouse of all the memories. Chitta and mind storehouse of all the memories. So sometimes they come automatically. Sometimes you need to instigate by giving some connection. So then it comes out. So that is one thing. That is one way the chitta will give you the connection that yes, you are there in Chennai 10 years back and you are also here today. That means chitta will tell you that, oh yes, you are there and you are now also. You are the same person. The chitta will connect to both the dots. Same way, the chitta will also do one interesting thing. How? We have 10 senses, 5 jnanendriyas and 5 karmendriyas. Chitta can only focus on the activity of one sense at a given point of time. Even though at a given point of time, all the 10 senses might be acting, but chitta can focus on only one sense and register the memories connected to that one sense at that point of time. It cannot register the experience of all the senses together. That is the limitation of mind or chitta. At one point of time, we may be doing simultaneously many things, but we may not remember all the things. For example, like yesterday there was Prerana class, Shubhalas Prabhu. I was sitting in the class. I was listening to what Prabhuji said. But at one point of time, suddenly he said something as a result of the past memory, something else, and I was thinking of something else. While I was thinking that something else for 2-3 minutes, what Shubhalas Prabhu told, I did not hear only. Even though sound vibration is entering into my ears, but my mind is 10 years back. What happened 10 years back? I was thinking about that only. That means while mind is thinking about something else, the ears cannot hear. The eyes cannot see at that point of time. Even though they may see, but what we saw, it is not registered. We don't remember what we saw. We don't remember what we have heard. So it is like that. Chitta can focus on one activity at one point of time. Either, then either, then either, then either, like that. All 5 senses will come and go one after the other. That's how it tries to retain the matter of all the senses. But this shifting will happen in microseconds. That's why we know maximum extent. But sometimes when we are deeply absorbed in something else, we will not remember anything. What's happening at the same time in relation to other senses. That is being indicated in here in this verse. One can infer the chitta by the knowledge or existences which are not operating at the same time. Knowledge does not arise from simultaneous or different senses. Even though at the same time we are seeing, we are hearing, we are speaking all these things, but mind cannot register all these experiences. It can only register one experience at one point of time. So that is the because Akshapada says, Yugapad Jnananutpattir Manaso Lingam. The quality of the mind is that knowledge does not arise simultaneously from different senses. That means our mind and our chitta does not store the experience of the multiple senses simultaneously. It can only store the experience of one sense at a given point of time. It cannot do multiple activities. That is understanding. Thus, when the mind unites with a particular sense, there is knowledge for the sense object of that particular sense. So, like that. If I am hearing attentively, I can register what I have heard. If I am thinking something else, I will only think what I am thinking that is registered, not what I am hearing. So, in that way. Similarly, by the present functions of chitta, which do not arise simultaneously, the actions generated from the previous bodies can be inferred. Just like chitta can focus only activities of one sense. And then it will move on to next sense, it will move on to next one. So there, since there we have 5 senses. First we register the information from one sense, then go to second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, again come back to first one. But while registering the activity of the fifth one, the first active result is subconsciously stored somewhere. You may not be remembering it now, but it is stored. Whatever experience you stored with one, it is there in the back of the mind. But right now, while you are focusing on the fifth sense, you may not remember what happened with the first sense. Same way, while we are focused in the current life activities, currently our Prabhuji is an engineer in MRM company. He is very much focused on okay, whatever. He is an employee in MRM company, is doing certain activities and he is busy with those activities. So he may not remember who was he in the past life. Previous life में क्या करता था, he may not be remembering. Because right now the chitta is focused on he being a person, employee in a particular company, in a particular identity. He is completely focused on this identity only. What was his identity in the previous life may not be remembered always, but it is stored in the subconscious mind. So that is what is indicated here. Similarly, the present functions of chitta, which do not arise simultaneously, the action generated from the previous bodies can be inferred. Here it says that even though we may not remember what we used to do in the previous life, but there is the influence of those activities in the current life. What was our general conduct in our previous life? The similar kind of conduct we display in the current life also. There is a influence. We may not remember everything as it is, but there is a influence. So, like that. When the operation of chitta unites with a certain action, the chitta then appears to be auspicious or inauspicious, depending on the particular action. Though an action disappears the moment it is performed, its impressions remain in the chitta. Thus, the conclusion has been shown. Even though who we are in our previous life, we may not remember, but who we were, what kind of activities we used to do, what kind of desires we used to have, what kind of personality we used to be, everything is stored in chitta. That will influence us in our current life. We may not know, but that will come. The influence will come without our knowledge because of subconscious mind or chitta. So that is understanding. Yeah, maybe recent activities influence may be more, ancient activities influence may be less. It is there. How did you develop this particular personality, particular swabhava? It is a combination of activity that we performed in the millions of lifetimes. So, like that. If vasanas are removed, you are liberated. The moment all the vasanas become zero, you are liberated. So, in that. Yes, Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी, जब हमको कोई पनिशमेंट मिलती है, जैसे हमारे कर्म का फल हमको ये बॉडी से अगले बॉडी में मिलते हैं, जो चित्ता ही सेम, बट उसको विस्मृति आ जाती है, हमको पता ही नहीं चलता कि हमारा किस कर्म के फल हम भुगत रहे हैं, देन देयर इज नो इम्पैक्ट ऑन, so how we can understand that?
That's what is telling, because the king question is same thing. Abhi, if you give reward or punishment immediately, because they know they have done something wrong and they get lessons from that and they will not do mistakes again. Why so much delay in giving the results? That was the question. There is a reason for it. As of now, we don't know. Eventually, we will come to know. But Narada Muni is addressing, how can we accept it? ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? For example, somebody is child prodigy. Why? There is not a common phenomenon, but why somebody 1 crore is exhibiting the child prodigy? What is the reason? It is nothing but the result of previous karmas. The karmas one performed in the previous life. So that is good result. Sometimes without our intention, without anything, suddenly we get some problem. Why it came? Result of our past bad karmas. So then the question is, how can I accept it? I have done something like that in the past. One simple clue is that your current Chetana is a connection to your previous lives. Your current Chetana is not something new, it is not something fresh, it is nothing but the result of all activity that you used to perform in your previous lives. Our current Chetana is the result of our previous activities, and our current Chetana will result in our future births. So that is a connection link that Narada Muni is trying to establish now.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you, Prabhu.
Here now the king asks the question, how can we perceive the subtle body which is not destroyed when the gross body is destroyed? आप subtle body के बारे में बोल रहे हैं, but how do we understand that I have a subtle body which was there in the past life also, which is there now also, which is going to be there in the future life also, same subtle body? How can I understand that? So now Narada Muni gives 2 examples. Nanubhutam pachanena
नानुभूतां स्वत्वेन
tehena drishtamashrutam
देहेन दृष्टमाश्रितम्
kadachid upalabhyeta
कदाचित् उपलभ्येत
yadrupam yadrugatmani.
यद्रूपं यादृक् Sometimes you suddenly experience something that was never experienced in the present body by sight or hearing. Sometimes we see such things suddenly in dreams.
So when you say that the subtle body will enjoy the results, whatever yajnas you are doing now, in the next life you will enjoy because subtle body is same. But how do I know that I have a subtle body? So now Narada Muni gives an example. Sometimes one experiences objects in the mind, the present body, which have not been experienced, seen or heard in this life, with particular forms and varieties. Sometimes we may get weird dreams. In the dream, the objects are something unique only. We have never seen or heard in this lifetime. So that is the answer. Why we are getting to see such kind of weird objects in our dream, which we have no experiences of seeing them, about hearing about them in this very lifetime? The reason is subtle body. In the present body, sometimes one experiences things which have not been experienced, seen or heard in this life. Things from the previous body in dreams or imagination. The forms and varieties are experienced in the mind. So that means, oh Baba, in this life you have not seen them, you have not heard about them, but you have seen them or you have heard about them in the previous life. That's why they are shown to you in your dream, because they are already stored in your subconscious mind, in the chitta, and they are shown in your dream. You will never ever experience or get to see something in your dream which you have not seen in the past. If not in this life, you might have seen them in the previous life, previous to previous life, previous to previous life, something like that. तेनास्या तादृशं राजल लिंगिनो देह संभवम श्रद्धत श्रद्ध श्रद्धत्स्वानुभूतोऽर्थो नामना स्प्रष्टुमर्हति. So here Narada says that, O king, please believe that these forms arise from experience in the previous body of the jiva. It is not possible for anything to appear in the mind which has not been previously experienced. That means whatever new things that we see in a dream are nothing but they are some of our previous experiences. We cannot get a dream with fresh or new surroundings or new personalities.
Ladies Daba.
So, like that. Everything that we see in the dream is nothing but which we have already experienced some of our lives. That is coming to us in this lifetime. Consider for certain those forms and varieties to be produced from a previous body of the jiva. O king, it is not possible for things to appear in the mind or in the dream that have not been experienced by us in the past. No dream of ours will never show something new. It will always show which we had an experience in our past lives. That is the dream. Just as things seen or heard when a person is young appear in his mind when he is older. Things experienced in many perceives. Sorry, things experienced in many previous bodies appear in the mind in this body. If that is so, then you should know that it is the mind and nothing else. It is a subtle body, nothing else. When you are getting to see some new things in your dream, that means subtle body is existing. Subtle body which stored your past experiences are coming to us in the form of a dream right now. So that is understanding. Yes, Mataji.
I have one question. Is my thinking proper about this? Prabhuji, I was also of this opinion, like, if I think something that exists, is because this is related to the same thing what you are telling. So because the mind and everything is material. So if I think something, that thing exists, and as you said that if you dream about some weird things, that also exists. Is this okay about my thought?
No, because it existed. Either you are
I can't
thinking.
hear, Prabhuji. We can't hear you.
So just because it used to be existed in the past, you already
Huh.
had an experience of something, you only think about it, or you only get to see them in the dream.
Oh,
Our mind can never ever think or see something new, which we do not have any experience of it in the past.
yes.
That is what
Uh,
Narada is saying.
Sorry, Prabhuji, this is out material thing what I'm telling. Prabhuji, when we were small, we saw the dinosaur movies. So we thought that it is, a fiction. Or, it doesn't exist. So many big creatures with so many big bodies. And the egg is like this big one full nicer or itna bada egg. So I could not think, but now it's relating that if it's there and thinking, so that is true, Prabhuji. That means
Yeah, yes. Whether we have seen a dinosaur in our past life or not does not matter. In our
huh.
childhood, we have seen in the movie. In the movie,
Yes,
they showed the object. That object
yeah,
will be stored for the rest of eternity in our mind. We will not forget it. We may
okay,
not remember always, but it is there in the mind for the rest of eternity because we have
Hmm.
already experienced it.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you, that's very nice.
So, in that way, no problem. You have seen it, na?
topic
You have
past
seen the
life,
image.
how
That image will be
like
stored in
how
your
it
mind,
passes from one body to another body. Tracking
even
by
that is
the
fictional.
post
Whatever you have seen in real also, whatever you have seen in the power image also, it will be stored. It is the image stored, that's all. Because you have seen it. You are seeing is not illusory. So it will be stored. So in that way. So here, the third canto talks about the activities of the mind. From the transformation of ahankara in sattva mind appears. From the mind's general desire to possess objects, desire appears in the form of fantasies about and desire to possess a particular object and notions concerning it appears. Basically, mind has two kinds of functionalities: sankalpa, vikalpa. Sankalpa means those things which are familiar to us in day-to-day life. Hare Krishna, Bhakti Gopi Mataji, kindly mute. Bhakti Gopi Mataji, thank you. So sankalpa means those things which are necessary to our day-to-day life, those things which we are interacting with our day-to-day life. We want to have them. So that is true. That is natural. But sometimes mind shows some weird things. Some weird idea comes in. Some weird dream comes in. That is called vikalpa. Vikalpa means some fantasy. जिसके बारे में हम about which we generally don't think, but it comes on its own. That is nothing but some time back in some of the previous life, you had some experience that is popped up in your mind right now. Because it was being stored in our chitta. It is just chitta which shows it. Why it is showed now? We don't know. That is nothing but the result of some activity that we have done in the past. So we have done that activity that time. It has to come now. Sometimes it may be very fearful, and we see it and we become afraid of something, and 1 day or 2 days, 1 week, we may be really in fearful situation. There is nothing but the reaction to our one of our previous activities. Something like that. So it is like that. No. Sankalpa means the thinking about those things which are useful in our day-to-day life. Vikalpa means fantasy. अचानक अपने आप आता है, but कुछ something unknown thing, unusual thing. That is vikalpa. Vikalpa means Vishesha Sankalpa, special Sankalpa. General Sankalpa, general desire. Sankalpa is general desire. Vikalpa is special desire. General desire is that you want to have pizza. Whenever you come to Chowpatty, you want to have Govinda's pizza. That is general desire. But Vikalpa is that you want to have something special substance which you never seen in this lifetime. That is called Vikalpa. You imagine something, some fantasy. So like that. Here, see the context. No, no. The same word can have multiple meanings under multiple considerations. But here we are talking about the memories. So now he says, Mana eva manushasya.
मन एव मनुष्यस्य
Purvarupani samsati.
पूर्वरूपाणि संसति
Bhavishyatascha bhadraante.
भविष्यतश्च भद्रान्ते
Tataivana bhavishyatah.
तथैवाना भविष्यतः. O king, all good fortune unto you. The mind is the cause of living entities attaining a certain type of body in accordance with its association with material nature. According to one's mental composition, one can understand what the living entity was in his past life as well as what kind of body he will have in the future. Thus, the mind indicates the past and future bodies.
Good fortune to you. The mind of man indicates his past forms and his future forms, and indicates as well whether he will not take another birth at all. Here Narada Muni gives a clue. What is our consciousness today will indicate three things. It will indicate who we were in our past life, who we will be in our future life. Are we going to get liberated or not? Also will be indicated by our current consciousness. Three things can be understood by mind, by current situation, current consciousness of ours. The present mental states inform us of the past and future inauspicious and auspicious bodies of the jiva. The mind alone indicates the previous bodies of man by his display of ferocity, peacefulness, measurableness, and generosity. So if any of these qualities are there, ferocity, peacefulness, miserliness, and generosity, accordingly we can infer. You in the past also you are like that, right now you are like that, in the future also will be like this only. So something like that. If somebody is peaceful, generous, they will say that you will become a devata next life. Or somebody is magnanimous. Abhi ho gaye, this is your last life. You are on the way back home, back to Godhead. So like that, one can infer. Based on our current consciousness, we can infer who we used to be in the past and who we will become in the future. The present mind indicates he was this type of person previously. If somebody is too angry now, we can say that पहले भी ऐसा था, अभी ऐसे है, future में भी ऐसा रहेगा, बदलेगा नहीं, something like that. It also indicates what his future body will be. By seeing his knowledge and renunciation in the present body, one understands that he had a control of his senses and control of his mind in a previous body, and that he will not be born in the future. He will be liberated. The mind indicates all this. If somebody is displaying so much sense control now, mind control now, that means he practiced so much sense control, mind control in the previous life. It cannot be a result of overnight. It is a result of multiple lifetimes. If somebody is practicing for many lifetimes sense control, mind control, this lifetime he will display sense control, mind control, and one can say that this fellow is exhibiting wonderful sense control, wonderful mind control. Next life, this is the last life, he will go back home back to God at the end of this life. So all this can be inferred with the current state of our consciousness. The same mind which always remains in the subtle body does this. The mind is not produced again and again with each body. The mind does not change when we change the gross body. The mind is same. At the time when we enter into the material world, we were given a mind, and that mind will be with us until we leave this material world. Only at the time when we leave this material world, the mind will be taken away from us. Until then, the mind will be accompanying us wherever we may go. We may become animal, human, bird, beast, etc. The mind is all same. Mind is always accompanying us. That's why we have the storage of the experiences in all millions of lifetimes within the mind or within the subconscious mind, wherever. So it is like that. Good fortune to you. He's telling that, oh king, good fortune to you. Bhadram te. Why? Understand this. It is a blessing out of Narada Muni's mercy. My dear king, understand this. In your past life also, you seems to be very much attached to performing karmakand rituals. That's why you are performing so many karmakand rituals now. If you still continue to do karmakand rituals now, in your future life also, you will continue to do karmakand rituals only. That will be your next business, next life business also. Kindly make a wise decision. What you want to become in the future? You want to become karmakand ritualist or something else? Decide right now. So like that, Narada Muni is cautioning. So indirectly, when saying Bhadrate, I don't want you to continue like karmakand ritualist, but may you practice bhakti and go back on my road. Let there be auspicious to you. Like that, Narada Muni blessing Parachanabari, because he is a descendant of Dhruva Maharaj. He is coming in the line of Dhruva Maharaj. That's why Narada Muni is specially blessing him. So in that way. Adrushtam ashrutam chatra.
Adrishtam ashrutam chatra.
Pachin manasi drishyate.
Pachin manasi drishyate.
Yata tatanu mantavyam.
Yata tata anumantavyam.
Desha kala kriyashrayam.
Desha kala kriyastrayam. Sometimes in a dream, we see something never experienced or heard in this life. But all these incidents have been experienced at a different time, places, and in different conditions.
Adamni says, sometimes one sees in the mind things that are impossible to see or hear in this life. These things should be understood to be experiences dependent on a place, time, and action. So I said that even if you see something new in your dream, understand that you had experience of them in your one of your previous lives. Otherwise, nothing comes new in your mind like that. How is it that one sometimes sees impossible things in a dream, such as an ocean on a mountain top? समुंदर माउंटेन के ऊपर, stars during the day, seeing the stars during the day, or one's own body without a head. So it should be understood that whatever forms appear is dependent on a place, time, or action. The ocean and a mountain top depends on seeing those things, ocean and mountain, in particular places. Seeing stars in the daylight depends on experiencing stars in the night, a particular time. Taking a message or other events dependent on during the day. So basically, we have an experience of mountain and also experience of ocean. But in the dream, what we are seeing? We are seeing a ocean upon the mountain. So though both the experience we have. So it is combining both and showing as a combination of both. Also, we have the experience of stars. We are also having the experience of day. It is combining both and showing to you stars in the daytime. So like that. So this kind of experience is also possible. So two different experiences which you had at two different times are combined together and shown at one go. So like that. One may then perceive the illusory action of having one's head cut off in a dream because of a disturbance of the dhatus. In the dream, one may see that one's head is cut, one is still holding the head in one hand and walking. That is possible in the dream. So one can do that in the dream also. So like that. Then the next verse, Narada says, Sarve karmanurodena
सर्वे कर्मानुरुदेन
manasendriya gochara
मनोषे इंद्रिय गोचरः
आयन्ति बहुशो याति
आयन्ति बहुशो यान्ति
सर्वे समनसो जना.
सर्वे समनुषो जनः. Translation: The mind of the living entity continues to exist in various gross bodies and according to one's desires for sense gratification. The mind records different thoughts in the mind which appear together in different combinations. Therefore, these images sometimes appear as things never seen or never heard before.
All jivas are endowed with the subtle bodies. All experience of the senses come and go in the mind in a particular sequence. So this appears to everyone like that. Narada is saying, ये आपका नहीं, सबके लिए ऐसा ड्रीम होता है, ड्रीम में एक्सपीरियंस होता है, ऐसा करके बोल रहे हैं. One jiva at different times entering into thousands of gross bodies by means of one subtle body enjoys all material pleasures. So एक जीवात्मा with एक subtle body passing from one gross body to other body like that, thousands of gross bodies one has passed through and thousands of experiences one will have. All experiences are stored in the chitta or subconscious mind. That is the understanding. सत्वैकनिष्ठे मनसि
तत्त्वैकनिष्ठे मनसि
भगवत् पार्श्ववर्तिने
भगवत्पार्श्ववर्तिनि
तमश्चन्द्रमसि वेदम्
तमश्चन्द्रमसि वेदम्
उपरज्यावभासते.
उपराज्यवभासते. Krishna consciousness means constantly associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in such a mental state that the devotee can observe the cosmic manifestation exactly as the Supreme Personality of Godhead does. Such observation is not always possible, but it becomes manifest exactly like the dark planet known as Rahu, which is observed in the presence of a full moon.
So now the same finally is concluded saying that how do I understand the really subtle body experience? Subtle body is there. Of course, experiences are there, that is fine. But still, is there any practical proof of subtle body? Is there any practical proof of Jivatma beyond subtle body? When will I be able to see subtle body and Jivatma? Another question is, does all of us believe existence of Rahu? Does Rahu exist? देखा क्या आपने? शास्त्र बताया, बट आपने देखा क्या कभी? देख सकते हैं उसको. When there is lunar eclipse, during the eclipse, Rahu comes in front of moon. What do you see then? The black covering. The black covering itself is Rahu. If you want to see Rahu, you have to wait for full lunar eclipse. That time you can see Rahu. Same way, if you want to see the subtle body and if you want to see the Jivatma, you have to wait till you come to Brahmabhuta platform. You come to Jivan Mukta platform. When you come to Jivan Mukta platform, you come to Brahmabhuta platform, you get to see the subtle body, you get to see Jivatma separate each other. Currently, we are only seeing the gross body. Even the subtle body there, we cannot see and perceive. If you want to perceive subtle body and if you want to see yourself, Jivatma also, you have to wait till One has to wait till one becomes Brahmbhuta platform. That is Shuddha Sattva. If one's mind is situated in Shuddha Sattva, by the side of the Lord, sometimes one sees the whole universe directly, just as Rahu occasionally appears during the lunar eclipse. Everyone sees all these things in a particular order. Sometimes there is a simultaneous observation of everything when the mind is constantly situated in Shuddha Sattva, situated next to the Supreme Lord. The devotee may see the entire universe directly, just as the Lord sees it by his will. For instance, Lord Krishna showed the entire universe to Mother Yashoda when he ate dirt. Though one does not deserve to see this, sometimes one can see it. Example, Rahu sometimes approaches moon during eclipse and we get to see Rahu. Normally we may see. So, like this. Now, Mother Yashoda was shown the entire universal form in the mount of Lord Krishna. And Lord is always seeing the entire universe. Same way, when we are situated next to the Lord, that means when our consciousness is completely pure, just like Lord is seeing the entire universe at one go, we can see the entire universe at one go. In that universe, you can see different gross bodies, subtle bodies, different spiritual souls, everything we can see as they are. So like that. That is understanding. Huh? Huh? Krama Anurodhen, one by one. You may have 100 desires. All desires are not fulfilled in one go. First one desire, then second, third, fourth, like that. And that is the way things are designed. If you want to, if in this life you have become an employee, if you have a desire to become doctor, you want to become a desire to lawyer, you have a desire to become engineer. Can you become all three simultaneously? No. One life you become doctor, one life you become lawyer, one life you become engineer. So that depends on your karma, which is strong, that will combust. Because the subtle body is not destroyed when the gross body is destroyed, one cannot say that there is another doer and another enjoyer in each life. This has been explained till now. There is another doubt. Though the gross body, the subtle body, through the gross body, the subtle body acts as a doer and enjoyer. But the subtle body never acts alone. In the absence of the gross body, the jiva no longer is a doer. He should then get liberation. So, in that way. The question is like this. Through the gross body, the subtle body acts as the doer and enjoyer. But the subtle body never acts alone. In the absence of the gross body, the jiva no longer is a doer. Right now, you are hearing. How you are hearing? Because you have a gross body, you are hearing. If this gross body is taken out from you, will you hear? Then somebody may say that when I am not able to hear any material subjects, I am liberated. Can I say like that? Liberation means no mental activities. So when there is no gross body, I am not doing any mental activity, then I am liberated. Is it like that? Not exactly. That is being negated. In the absence of the gross body, the jiva no longer is a doer. Jiva cannot do anything. So that means he should be liberated. He is liberated. Like in the deep sleep, you are not doing anything. Are you liberated during still deep sleep? No. That is what it is. That is the question. The answer is, Narada says, Naham mameti bhavo bhavo yam. Purushe vyavadiyate. Yavad buddhi mano karta guna vyuhoi anadiman. The connection with the gross body expressed through me and mine does not cease for the jiva as long as the beginningless subtle body composed of intelligence, mind, senses, and sense objects continues to exist. Aham mameti will not go away as long as subtle body is intact. Even the subtle body may not function for time being. In the deep sleep, your subtle body may not function. The subtle body may be resting, but that aham mameti is there. As soon as you get up, the same aham mameti is there. I am doctor, I am engineer, I am brahmachari, I am this, I am that. That strong identity is always there. As long as that is there, one cannot be liberated. That is understanding. For the jiva, the connection with the gross body, the condition of me and mine, is not cut as long as the subtle body, a transformation of the gunas, in the form of man, buddhi, ahankara, chetana, indriya, and indriya artha, continues to exist. So these are all making the subtle body. Subtle body includes man, buddhi, ahankara, chetana, jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, panchatanmatras, and dashavidha pranas. All these put together is called subtle body. So in that way. When did this start? A subtle body कब शुरू हुआ? The subtle body does not have a known time of beginning. We don't know कब शुरू हुआ. हमारा material existence कब शुरू हुआ? We cannot tell. Anadi. Anadiman. So that is understanding. This aham mameti thing is continuing from time immemorial. Hare Krishna, devotees are able to follow. Any questions from online? A topic
No,
thoda,
Prabhu. No, Prabhu.
No, Prabhuji, clear.
because the concept is same only, but Narada trying to analyze and trying to express from various angles. The same concept is here, there, everywhere is explaining. So in that way. Just as the gross bodies are created and destroyed thousands of times, while the subtle body remains. While the gross body remains, there is destruction of the subtle body when deep sleep occurs and creation of the subtle body when deep sleep ends. Why can we not say this? This is explained in 2 verses. Question can be asked. So you are telling that, your subtle body is same, you are leaving this grass body, entering into new grass body, and life is going on with the different grass bodies. But same way, why don't you say that when you sleep, you are not identified. Grass body is there, Atma is there, but subtle body is not there. You are not aware of that. You are Pavaneshwar Das, you are a brahmachari, you are this and all, that kind of entity is not there. That then why don't you say that when you go to sleep, your subtle body is dead. When you get up, your subtle body is alive. Why can't you say that? That could be the question. The answer is Supti Murchotpatapeshu Pranayana Vibhagata Nehateham iti jnanam Mrityu Prajvarayorapi. Only because of the stoppage of the movements of the senses in the state of sleep, fainting, and deep grief, and the states of death and death fever, one has no self-awareness, but the subtle body does not cease to exist. Occasionally, at various times, one may fall unconscious. That doesn't mean that subtle body died. Subtle body is still alive. What are the situations? Sometimes when we are in deep sleep, sometimes when you are fainting, sometimes when you are in deep grief. कोई डियर आदमी मर गया तो रोते रोते ऐसे अचानक गिर पड़ते, कुछ समय के लिए बेहोश हो जाते. And in the state of death, when one dies, before one gets new birth, in the meantime, the subtle body may not be functioning, but is still intact. After death and before new birth, the subtle body may not function, but still one is death. One is subtle body still is there. And death fever, one may be about to die also. Some people become unconscious. कोमा में जाते हैं, so इधर उधर डेथ के पहले. Upatapa means suffering due to separation from someone dear. Because of the stoppage of the movement of the senses during sleep and other conditions, and the consequent inability of the senses to carry out their functions, one does not have awareness of the self identity. I am so and so. In deep sleep, none of the senses are mind functions. In the dream state, the external knowledge senses do not function. Though there is greater degree of stoppage of movements in the state of death and prajvara, and great difficulty in those states, the subtle body is still not absent. In all these cases, we may not aware who we are, either in sleep or deep sleep or fainting or coma or during death or after death, sometime before next birth. We may not be aware of who we are. That does not mean that subtle body is dead. No, subtle body is intact, but subtle body cannot express its awareness because there is no good gross body. So in that way. Another example is given. Garbe balyepi apaushkalyad. Please, someone. Few more verses, this particular theme will be over. Just we'll go through. Garbe balyepi apaushkalyad. एकादशविधं तदा लिंगं न दृश्यते योनः कुहुवां चंद्रमसो यथा. Because of seats of the senses are not fully developed, the subtle body evident by available senses, which are clearly visible in a stage of youth, is not visible in a child within the womb or in a newborn baby, just as the moon is not visible during the new moon phase. Just like on the Amavasya day, we are not able to see the moon. That doesn't mean that moon is not there. Same way, when the child is in the womb, when the child is in a young state, we may not be able to ascertain what would be the nature of this person, what kind of subtle body this person has. That we may not understand and ascertain. But when the body grows, suddenly we can understand what kind of person is he, what kind of mentality does that person has, what kind of consciousness he possesses, what kind of consciousness. Everything will manifest as soon as the gross body develops. In the womb, one may not be able to express who he is. In the childhood, one may not be able to express what kind of desires, what kind of thought process one has. But as gross body develops, few years later, one starts manifesting all one's desires. So like that. Same way, when one is fainted, when one is in death state, when one is pre-death state, when one is in a deep agony, the gross body may not support to express the desires or the existence of subtle body. But eventually they can. So like that. Now, that one verse which we discussed somewhere in the beginning of this chapter, which comes 5 times in the entire Bhagavatam, which is the key verse of the entire Jnana Yoga process. This is again coming the same chapter second time. 5 to 429:73 and also 429:35. It came at 35th verse, again coming now. Arte hi avidyamanepi samsrutirna nivartate dhyayato vishayanasya swapne artagamo yata. So here the verse says, just as enjoyment objects, just as the enjoyment of the objects continues in a dream, though the objects are not present, samsara does not cease for a person attached to sense objects through the subtle body, though the subtle body stops functioning during deep sleep. The previous verse said that in these conditions, even though one may not be able to exhibit, but still one should understand subtle body is still intact. During coma, after death, during pre-death, and during agony, during sleep and all. Same way, here, as long as the subtle body is functioning, once samsara will exist. Because subtle body means desire to enjoy. As long as the desire to enjoy is there, once samsara will continue to manifest in this material world. Only the moment one stops desiring to enjoy in this material world, one's material existence will stop. It's like that. That means as long as we are in the dream, we go through some experience, good or bad. It is only when we come out of the dream, our experience will stop. Same way, when we come out of the subtle body, our material existence will stop. In that way. In states like deep sleep, there is obstruction of the subtle body's functions, but it is not absent. Some say that during deep sleep and during final devastation, the subtle body does not exist because of merging into Prakriti. But they also say that this is not liberation. It is still samsara. An example is given. Even in deep sleep, even after Prakritika Pralaya, one may not be identified with the subtle body. But that is not a state of liberation. In the next life, one starts again mental activities. Next morning, one again starts performing mental activities. So, like that. Just as a person who meditates on sense objects perceives forms for enjoyment in a dream, though the physical objects are not present. So, in deep sleep, though the subtle body does not function, the impressions have not been destroyed. So, like that. In the dream, we may be eating so many nice delicacies, but as soon as you come out of the dream, you don't see any delicacy. Whatever you see in the dream, they don't have any factual existence, but you are going through experience. Same way, in the current life, we also go through so many experiences. After liberation, these experiences will have no factual existence. So, like that. As of now, they all appear to be real. But once you liberate yourself, these things will have no meaning to it. That's why Jnana Yoga, one of the important core principle is they treat this material world as an illusory existence. That's why by treating it like that, they never have a desire to enjoy the material world. A illusory world है तो उसको क्या enjoy करेंगे? Real world को enjoy करो ना. So that is one of the key principle of Jnana Yoga. Then one may question, what is the subtle body? The next verse says that what is the subtle body is made up of? Subtle body is made up of Man, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chetana, Jnanendriya, Karmendriyas, and Pancha Tanmatras. All these put together makes the subtle body. That is mentioned in this verse. Evam Panchavidam Lingam Trivrut Chodasha Vistrutam Esha Chetanaya Yukto Jiva iti abhidiyate. The form which consists of the 5 pranas, Panchavidam, and the 3 gunas, 3 modes, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, which is furnished with the 16 transformations. What are the 16 transformations? 10 senses, 5 sense objects, and mind. And which is endowed with consciousness, Chitta and Buddhi, is called the subtle body. The subtle body is made up of all these things. 3 gunas, 5 pranas, 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, 5 tanmatras, man, buddhi, ahankara, chetana. All these things put together make the subtle body. Anena purusho dehan upadatte vimunchati harsham shokam bayam dukkam sukam chanena vindati. So here Narada says, by the subtle body, the jiva accepts the different gross bodies and gives up the gross bodies, accepts and gives up, and experiences joy, lamentation, fear, grief, and happiness. It is by the subtle body, even though we may be in different gross bodies, but in every gross body we continuously experience harsha, shoka, bhaya, dukkha, sukha. All these things we go through. So in that way. So then our experience of good and bad, happiness and misery are compared to some dust particles in the next verse. Yata trunājalokeyam napayati yapayati cha jnātyajenmriyamanopi pragdehabhimatim janaha yavad anyam na vindeta vyavadanena karmanam mana eva manushendra bhutanam bhavavanam. So here Narada says, finally, just like a caterpillar, when the caterpillar want to go from one leaf to other leaf, does it jump just like that, like just like monkey will jump? Caterpillar देखा आप लोग? In the field, it is like a long insect. It raises the first portion, moves ahead, puts on a different leaf. Then the middle portion moves up and moves little ahead. Then back portion moves up and goes ahead. The point is, it does not immediately jump to the next leaf. Similarly, when a person leaves one gross body, before entering into a new subtle body, one does not leave behind the previous gross body's experiences just like that. One still carries them until one becomes stable in the new body. That's why we have this experience of past life memories. Who will generally express the past life memories? Small kids only. Once they grow up, they forget all the past life memories. Only when the children are about 4 or 5 years, they will have past life memories because they are still hooked on to the previous life. They did not shift completely to the current life. The previous memories are still haunting them. So like this caterpillar moving on to the next leaf, it does not leave the previous leaf immediately. It slowly moves to the next leaf, thoda idhar, and dhire dhire aage jaate. When it is completely moved on to the next leaf, it leaves behind the previous leaf. Same way, when we move on to the next life, we leave behind the memories of the previous life. Thus, mind is the cause of repeated cycle of birth and death. The mind of the living beings is the cause of repeated birth. Manayeva manushyanam bhutanam bhavabandhanam bhavavanam. How is the mind the cause of samsara? Yadakshaischaritan dhyayan karmani achinute sakrit Tati karmani avidyayam Bandha karmani anatmanaha. When one performs actions by the senses while thinking of the objects of enjoyment, bondage to the action of the body occurs, since each of these actions have the seed of ignorance. Every activity that we perform, we want to enjoy. As long as the desire to enjoy is there, we are bound by the reactions. So that's how we are bound. Because every desire and every activity has some kind of ignorance. Ignorance means the desire to enjoy in the material world. As long as that ignorance is there, we are bound. When there is no ignorance, when there is only sattva, when one performs activity for the sake of performing, karmanyevadikarasya ma phaleshu kadachana, then one is not bound. One performs activity just because I have to perform, that's all. Okay. One does not want to enjoy the results. Such a person is not bound in this material world. So in that way, the desire to enjoy the results is the cause of one's bondage. In that way. Atastad apavadartam bhaja sarvatmana harim pashyam tad atmakam vishwam sthiti utpatti apyayayata. Here, Narada Muni speaks the last verse of his discussion. He says, therefore, to counteract ignorance, to destroy tamoguna, seeing the Supreme Lord and the whole universe, worship the Lord who creates, maintains, and destroys the universe with all your heart. Since your mind currently is not attached to perform bhakti, then Narada Muni says that, see the entire universe as the Lord and serve the universe in order to please the Lord, not to enjoy the universe. One is performing karma to enjoy the universe. Now he says that, see the universe as the form of the Lord and serve the universe for the pleasure of the Lord. That will not make you bound in this material world. The desire to enjoy in this life or next life is the cause of bondage. Then perform all the activities, but not with the mentality to enjoy the results, but to serve the Lord and to please the Lord. That will provide you liberation. This is the final instruction of Narada Muni to Prachina Barhi. Afterwards, Narada Muni leaves from there. Prachina Barhi practices bhakti and attains liberation. Immediately, that will be explained in the next verses. Maitreya Uvacha Bhagavata Mukyo Bhagavan Narado Hamsayorgatim Pradarshasya hi amantrya Siddhalokam Tatogamat. Maitreya says, the chief devotee Narada, after showing the nature of the Jiva and the Supreme Lord to King Prachinavari and taking permission from the king, departed for Siddhaloka. Narada Muni returned to his own abode where Siddhas are residing. Prachinabarhi Rajarshi Praja Sargabi Rakshane Adishya Putra Nagamat Tapase Kapilashramam. The saintly king Prachinabarhi, after ordering his sons to protect the citizens, went to Kapila's hermitage to perform austerities. Right now his sons are not there, but he told his ministers, my dear ministers, now enough is enough. I am going to forest to practice Kevala Bhakti. You take care of the kingdom until my sons comes. After my sons comes, you guide them how to take care of the kingdom. Like this, he told his ministers to inform his sons to take care of the kingdom, and he went to Kapila Ashrama to practice Bhakti. Tatragaramanadhiro Tatraikagramanadhiro Govinda Charanambujam Vimukta Sango Anubajan Bhaktya Sat Samyatamagat. Thereby fully concentrating his mind while being free of material contamination and continually worshipping the lotus feet of the Govinda, He attained Sarupya by his devotion. Prachinabari attained Sarupya Mukti. Samyata means similar form. He went to Vaikuntha and attained Sarupya Mukti. Etat avayatma aparoksham adhyatma paroksham Geetam Devarshi Nangata Devarshi Nanaga Yashravayedya Shrunuyat Salingena Vimuchyate. O sinless Vidura, one who hears or makes others hear this allegorical story of spiritual life sung by Narada becomes freed from the subtle body. Whoever hears this particular pastime and speaks, they will become freed from the influence of subtle body. Properly hears and properly speaks. Etan mukunda yashasa bhuvanam punanam devarshivarya mukanishrutam saucham yakirtamanam adhigacchati parameshtyam nasmin bhave brahmati mukta samasta bandha. The last two slokas talk about the Falashruti. One who studies this story filled with the glories of Lord Mukunda, which is purifying for the whole world and purifying for the soul, which flowed from the mouth of Narada and is continuously sung by Brahma, becomes free from all bondage and does not wander in the material world. In this story, two people were liberated. One is Puranjana liberated after he became Vidarbhi, and also Prachinabari were liberated. And whoever hears this story follows in their footsteps, keeping every instruction in their consciousness, they will also get liberation, go back to Godhead. Adhyatma parokshamidam mayadigatam adbhutam evam sriyashramam pumshas chindo mutra cha samshayas. I have studied this astounding spiritual allegorical story. By doing this, I am free from ahankara and doubts concerning how one experiences karma in the next life. Maitreya Muni says that I studied this story thoroughly from my spiritual master. Since then, I am freed from aham mameti concept. I am almost Jivan Mukta, liberated while still living. So this is the final result of this entire episode. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I went through fast because this topic is also like that. So there was no point in extending too much and quickly went through. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hope I did not confuse. Request all of you to go through these verses again. So we have done with this chapter. We have been discussing this chapter for last 4 or 5 weeks continuously. So with a lot of breaks also in between. So we'll stop here for today and we'll meet again in the next class. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की शिल प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.
जय. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
हाँ हरे कृष्णा. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavad.
हरे कृष्णा. दंडवत प्रणाम. धन्यवाद.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी. दंड प्रणाम.